Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Topping our newscast, the St. Thomas St. John Election Board met on Thursday and made a controversial decision that goes against the VI code. One of their members is refusing to give up her board position as a condition for candidacy for another office, and the district board is standing behind her. News 2's April Knight has more.
A decision by the St. Thomas St. John Board of Elections on Thursday set off a torrent of legal and ethical questions. The board is allowing one of its members, Ivy Moses, to run for Senate and remain in her seat in the election board. That's in spite of current laws stating that election board members cannot run for higher office. For Moses, it's a discrimination issue that targets only election board members.
As a Virgin Islander, I should be a taxpayer. I should be able to run for any seat in the St. Thomas St. John district or at large as a St. John resident. It's not a conflict of interest that I'm on the Board of Elections. If it was, it would be a conflict of interest that the senators who are in office, when they start office as senatorial candidates as well.
But unlike lawmakers, the election board does face a special kind of conflict of interest. Election board members get to oversee the election process and even handle or count actual ballots. St. Thomas St. John members who support Moses say that that's not exactly how it works.
There's no way one board member can control any board, and so that shouldn't be used or shouldn't be an obstacle to statewide member. Moses should run for office.
Election Supervisor Carolyn Fox is enforcing the current law, making it a condition for Moses to resign before approving her candidacy for the Senate seat. Moses said she's going to have to take the matter to court.
In my case, I'm refusing to resign. They will have to go to court. At this point, only the court will be able to decide this matter.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
All members of the St. Thomas St. John Board were in St. Croix today to appear in court in the lawsuit filed by Democratic Party leadership. Count on 2 to keep you updated. Well, very early this morning, around 7:44 a.m., VIPD officers were dispatched to the Home Depot store off the Melvin Evans Highway on St. Croix in regards to a bomb threat. The all-clear was eventually given around 9:41 a.m. Here is VIPD's Public Relations Officer Glenn Drake.
Friday, May 20th at approximately 7:44 a.m., officers were dispatched to the Home Depot store off the Melvin H. Evans Highway in regards to a bomb threat. Preliminary investigations reveal that a cashier received a call at approximately 7:27 a.m. from a caller stating that the Home Depot store will blow up in 5 minutes. Customers and employees were vacated from the store. The specialized canine units and officers checked the entire premises, including vehicles, and declared the area safe and secure for operations at 9:41.
On May 18th at approximately 11:27 p.m., officers were dispatched by the 911 Emergency Call Center in regards to shots fired in the area of Oswald Harris Court Housing Community. Here's more from the VIPD.
Upon arrival to the scene, contact was made with witnesses who stated that approximately 3 black males were sitting in the western archway of Building 20 when roughly 3 to 4 unknown males exited an approaching dark-colored SUV and began firing shots at the building. At least 2 of the units in Building 20 sustained damages from the discharging of the weapons. In addition, items within at least 2 units were also damaged. Multiple casings were recovered in the roadway and outside the building. Preliminary investigations reveal that none of the residents were injured as a result of the shots fired. According to the report, there were no reports of gunshot victims at the Royal Leicester Schneider Regional Medical Center. Anyone with information regarding the shooting may contact the Criminal Investigations Bureau at 340-714-9807 or the anonymous tip service at Crime Stoppers USVI at 1-800-222-TIPS. I'm Glenn Drade, Public Information Officer for the Virgin Islands Police Department.
Also, officers from the VIPD bike unit are being recognized after exemplifying utmost professionalism during an incident that occurred on the waterfront last week. VIPD officials remind the community to continue to build the morale of the hardworking and dedicated officers, for although it's their duty, they say, to protect and serve our community, a pat on the back goes a long way. Therefore, they add a special thank you in order for all the members of the VIPD bike unit, especially Officer Sharon Bacan and Auxiliary Officer Peter Tavernier, for their hard work, professionalism, and service to citizens of St. Thomas VI. after significant drops in rates per kilowatt hour. The Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority is now proposing an emergency rate increase. According to WAPA officials, it would help improve the authority's dire financial situation. They also say it's not a permanent rate increase. News 2's April Knight has more.
WAPA consumers could face slightly higher rates if a decision by the WAPA board gets approved by the Public Services Commission. On Thursday, WAPA's governing board approved a proposal by interim CEO Julio Reimer to increase the rates per kilowatt hour by 2.687 cents. That's expected to result in a $13 increase in the average monthly WAPA bill. It's an emergency rate increase, according to Reimer. WAPA needs to reach at least 45 days of cash on hand to avoid downgrades in its ratings and to pay its own bills, including vendors. When WAPA reaches that goal of roughly $34 million, WAPA officials will consider lowering the increase.
In 45 days, the rate of the increase will be lowered in a joint level reached by the authority and the Public Services Commission.
They may remove it altogether when they reach 85 days of cash on hand, which is the industry norm according to WAPA. Even with the emergency increase, consumers are still paying less than what they paid a year ago because of WAPA dropping rates.
It's not a significant savings. As you remember, we've gone down from 53 cents to 29 cents. It's about 20 cents less per kilowatt hour than what you were paying a year ago today.
Again, that rate increase still has to be approved by the Public Services Commission. That meeting is set to happen on May 26th. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Also, WAPA has scheduled some public meetings next week across the territory. These are happening Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week to get public comments on an integrated resource plan prepared for by WAPA, its consultant. The Integrated Resource Plan is a study that determines the best generation mix for WAPA over the next 20 years. It factors in the authority's current generation capacity to determine generator sizes and types of renewable energy to help WAPA perform at its best. Turn our attention overseas. The president has received a full briefing on the mosquito-borne Zika virus and is urging lawmakers to take up his $1.9 billion proposal to combat the disease. President Obama spoke about it Friday, saying it is possible for Zika to cause significant birth defects. He noted, "We do not know all of the potential effects, but we do know that they are serious." The president said there have been more than 500 cases of Zika in the U.S., all of which appear to be travel-related. He said there have been 10 cases where the virus was transmitted sexually. The CDC said in a report Friday the number of pregnant women with Zika has more than tripled. It says 157 pregnant women in the U.S. now have Zika. Egypt's military says it's found debris from EgyptAir Flight 804 in the Mediterranean Sea north of Alexandria. The plane disappeared from radar while en route from Paris to Cairo Thursday. According to the Armed Forces statement, Egyptian aircraft and naval vessels found parts of the wreckage Friday. Passengers' personal belongings were also located, according to that statement. Searching, sweeping, and retrieval operations are underway. 2 earthquakes struck Ecuador's coast on Wednesday, killing at least 1 person and causing minor damage in an area still recovering from a devastating quake last month. Wednesday's first quake, with a magnitude of 6.7, hit at 3 a.m. The second followed in the afternoon at 6.8, according to the United States Geological Survey. The epicenters of the 2 quakes were only a few miles apart. The single reported casualty was a man killed in Tasagua. Wednesday's quakes affected the same area hit by that 7.8 magnitude earthquake last month, Ecuador's worst disaster in nearly 7 decades. That temblor killed more than 660 people, including 1 American. Keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. According to the numbers there, we can see everything up. The Dow 65, NASDAQ 57, S&P 500 up at 12. Coming up on News 2, the 15th annual Relay for Life on St. Croix will take place at the St. Croix Educational Complex track Saturday through Sunday, beginning at 4 p.m. on Saturday. Plus, Are you ready for Shaggy? He is ready for the VI at the Rifle. Coming up. Welcome back. The Adjutant General of the Virgin Islands, Brigadier General Deborah Howell, announces the retirement of Command Sergeant Major Dennis M. Dickey. His retirement ceremony will be held this Saturday, 3 p.m. at the Gerard A. James Senior Joint Force Headquarters in Estate Bethlehem. He was born in the Republic of Guyana. He enlisted in the U.S. Army in October 1978. He held numerous positions and served in several aviation units throughout his active duty period. After separation from active duty service in 1992, he transferred to VI National Guard as the non-commissioned officer in charge of the Army Aviation Operating Facility at the Henry Wilson Airport on St. Croix. That was from 1992 to 2006 among his accomplishments. Meanwhile, the National Guard will be conducting its annual volunteer workshop and recognition ceremony this weekend on St. Thomas for military volunteers and staff. The event kicked off this evening, Friday, and it's going on until Sunday, May 22nd at the Marriott Frenchman's Reef and Morningstar Beach Resort. This year's theme, they say, is Be Bold, Be Brilliant, Be Resilient. There will be presentations. The Family Program Office will host its annual awards and recognition ceremony from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Saturday. It is a formal event open to the National Guard community. Awardees were nominated by peers, United Commanders, and Family Program staff. The Adjutant General's Award recognizes 10 categories of volunteer service. Senator Myron Jackson, chair of the Committee on Culture, Historic Preservation, Youth, and Recreation, will be hosting a celebration coming up on Monday, May 23rd, on the grounds of the Earl B. Otley Legislative Hall, and that's in observance of African Liberation Day. Members of the public are invited to attend the festivities scheduled to begin at 10 a.m., goes on until 12, to include musical selections, dance performances, and poetry readings from students and cultural organizations across the territory. African Liberation Day is in recognition of the adoption of Bill number 18-0147, which names the third week in May as African Liberation Week. Paying homage to Africans brought to the Virgin Islands by force, taken away from their homeland, family, and culture. It's National Public Works Awareness Week. Senator Kurt Violet recognizes the individuals who work behind the scenes to preserve our infrastructure and provide services collectively known as public works. He says he understands the importance that the department plays in our everyday lives, including planning, building, operating, and managing the necessities of our local community. This is an opportunity to acknowledge the unsung heroes of our territory, the engineers, managers, and employees who make our community safer and healthier, the professionals who serve the public every day and provide services essential to the quality of life and welfare of the citizens of the VI. Senator Violet is urging the public to join him in thanking the dedicated employees. On Saturday, May 21st, along with Friday's festival that's coming up, they are among many activities the department is sponsoring during National Tourism Month. Cleaning up our islands and maintaining this cleanliness demonstrates the strong pride that exists within our community, and that message came from the Tourism Commissioner Beverly Nicholson Doty. Volunteers should come out dressed in long pants and closed-toe shoes and bring a hat, sunscreen, and gloves. T-shirts and water will be supplied to all volunteers. Now, the minimum age to participate in this cleanup is 14 years, accompanied by an adult. For students, this event counts toward community service hours, and these are the cleanup zones on St. Croix. Zone 1 is in Frederiksted Town, Zone 2, Frederiksted Beachfront, and Zone 3, Christiansted. Zone 4, Airport Road. Now looking over on St. John, Zone 1 is on Cruise Bay, Zone 2, Coral Bay, and then on St. Thomas, Zone 1, Downtown Charlotte-Amalie, Zone 2, Subbase Airport, 3, Long Bay Road, and then Zone 4, Smith Bay, Zone 5, Red Hook, and then Zone 6, Bolongo Bay and Bavoni area. Now, what we were just talking about, the Department of Tourism, in conjunction with that, the cleanups, they're also hosting the Frederiksted Food Truck Festival, but that's going on right now, featuring sumptuous culinary delights for more than 10 food operators, as well as a performance from the acclaimed Stanley and the 10 Sleepless Nights. The festival, which had to be rescheduled due to the inclement weather earlier in the month, is being held at the Frederiksted waterfront in partnership with the Frederiksted Economic Development Association's Sunset Jazz. And that began at 6, but it continues until 10. So you still have some time to head down there and check it out. Now, speaking of music, Grammy Award-winning reggae artist Shaggy is here. The artist is considered a pioneer in bringing reggae dancehall music to the forefront of pop culture. Shaggy's career first blossomed in 1993 with his hits "Oh Carolina" and in 1995 with Mr. Boombastic. Here's more.
Shaggy is a reggae dancehall superstar, megastar. He's one of the few reggae artists that has sold Diamond. Diamond is 10 million albums sold. That was on his album, I think, Hot Shot. He did that a couple years back. Hit songs, It Wasn't Me, Mr. Boombastic, Hey Sexy Lady, Oh Carolina, the list goes on. And he's just he's also a great philanthropist and a businessman down in Jamaica. He helps out, gives back to the community. I think he gave back, $1 million to a local hospital now over the past couple of years. So, you know, he's a great individual and a great ambassador for the Caribbean on a whole.
And it's a great show to close out Rykel's season, and they had an awesome season. Well, the 15th annual Relay for Life will take place at the Synchro Educational Complex track Saturday through Sunday, beginning at 4 p.m. on Saturday. Teams of cancer survivors, family, friends, caregivers, and volunteers celebrate and honor those who have fought cancer, currently fighting cancer, and remember lost loved ones. Donations raised by participants in the USVI are used to help the territory's American Cancer Society save lives with free information and critical services. Here's more.
So this weekend, Innovative is once again happy to participate with the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life. It's something that's very dear to our hearts. Many of us have been affected by cancer, whether personally, our friends, family members, many of our colleagues. And so we come out and support. We have a great time for a wonderful cause, and we're encouraging other people. It's still not too late. You can come out on the day of and participate. So we encourage you to do so.
And what is the weather going to be like for that? For those who are heading out, be sure to stick around. Your News2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.